Hey, it's Dr. Glynn. Today I want to talk about some of the common mistakes people make when they're trying to lose weight. So I'm going to go over 5 today. All right, sort of the 5 most common mistakes people make when they're trying to lose weight. Okay, so the first one, number 1, is actually dieting. Okay, now dieting works. That's why it's such a huge business. When people do go on a diet, they do have success initially. They do lose weight initially. One of the biggest problems though is that a lot of diets are not sustainable over the long term. So they're really good for when you want to quickly try and shed a few pounds, but they're not so good for when you actually want to lose weight and maintain that weight loss, because a lot of them are not sustainable for various different reasons. Sometimes they're too restrictive and you can't kind of cut that sort of amount of food out of your diet for that period of time, or the types of food out of your diet for that period of time. Sometimes they're just too restrictive on the long term because they're just too expensive, they cost too much money. So the first thing I always advise people when they're trying to lose weight and they really want to make it a long-term kind of thing is don't diet. Try to instead adjust how you eat so that it's sustainable. Whatever you do has got to be sustainable. It's not going to be long term. Okay. So the second thing is sometimes people, they underestimate the number of calories that they actually drink. Okay. Now when we drink during the day, sometimes we don't really think about the calorie intake that goes with those drinks. Okay. I myself, I remember many years ago, I drink tea. I'm English, obviously, as you can tell. I drink tea, used to drink lots of tea, but I didn't always factor in how many calories go in that tea, the tea I drink. There's milk, there's some sugar in there, all of that adds up. So probably a cup of tea, when I drink a cup of tea, is maybe 100 calories. Now I don't factor that in. Now if I have like 3 or 4 cups during the day, that's like 300 or 400 calories that I'm not factoring into what I'm consuming. So if I'm trying to lose weight, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm eating X number of calories a day, and that feels like it should be kind of fitting in with the goals I have, but I'm not factoring in the stuff I'm drinking. Same goes with sometimes with like juices, sodas, things like that. We don't factor in sometimes the calories that are in the stuff that we drink because we just don't really think about it. Okay. The third thing, number 3, okay, is people often don't plan. Okay, trying to be successful when you're losing weight or you want to maintain weight loss is really about planning. What tends to happen is people, they don't think about, how they're going to eat throughout the day. They sometimes get caught out. Therefore, they're hungry and they don't have good options available. So they sometimes make the best choice they have, but they don't always have great options available. So planning is really important. Planning what situation is going to be problematic. Planning how you're going to handle those situations when they come up, all of that kind of stuff. So planning is really important too. All right. The fourth thing, okay, is people overestimate the impact that exercise has. All right. Now, exercise is really good because when you exercise, you burn calories. But what people don't often factor is when you exercise, okay, you often increase your appetite. Okay, metabolism increases, things like that, and we tend to eat more. Also, we tend to reward ourselves. Okay, I certainly have done that. I've worked really hard on the treadmill, and I think to myself later in the day, well, I've worked hard today. I can have X, Y, and Z. Well, it turns out that X, Y, and Z is actually more calories than what I actually burnt in the gym. I don't know if you've ever run on the treadmill for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and you look down and you read those calorie counts. They're sometimes not always accurate, but you read them and you're like, well, after 45 minutes, that's 200 calories. That's 200 calories, 250 in 45 minutes of like running, and I'm exhausted. Yeah, I can eat 200, 250, 300 calories in like, a minute and a half if I eat the wrong type of thing. So overestimating the impact of exercise and what that does to your appetite and how you sometimes eat during the day. So if you're going to exercise, you need to make sure that you factor that in. If you want to try and lose weight, it means you don't eat extra calories as a result. Okay. And then the fifth thing, people try and make too many changes at once. Okay. When you are making changes, I always say to everybody I work with, only change one thing at a time. So it's like when you're having a surgery and you've got a bunch of things behaviorally you've got to change. you want to just change one thing at a time. All right, you change that, you make some impact, make some inroads in that, and then you can start working on changing something else. But if you change like 2-3 things all at the same time, what's going to happen is it's going to get overwhelming, and you're going to end up not being successful with any of it. All right, so when you exercise, when you change eating habits, when you, as I say, increasing an exercise program, changing eating habits, whatever you're doing, when you're making any changes in what you do, you want to make sure that you make kind of one at a time, and you don't make like 3 or 4 all at the same time. Okay, so those are really the 5 common sort of mistakes, errors people make when they're trying to lose weight. They don't factor in those things. Thanks a lot for watching. Please, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be that little subscribe button up there. Also, check out our website. Check out my Facebook page, Dr. Glynn, bariatric psychologist, for lots of information and things on there. But I really appreciate you taking the time to check out the video, and hopefully see you in the next video.